What's going on, guys? It is Rinne-Hatake here, back with another video, and today I got what if Rinne-Hatake was in Naruto, or what if I was in Naruto Part 2. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the first part, and I will be uploading another part to this pretty soon. But yeah, with all that being said, cue the intro. Would have cried over the dead body of Nagato and Yahiko as he would look upon the dead body of his brothers. He would take the eye that the Rinnegan that Nagato had promised him, and basically implant it in his own eye. Seeing this, Konan would use the limited amount of healing jutsu that she would know and use it to ease the pain of the transplant. As she does so, Takaru would take his hand away from the eye and open his eye, or his left eye, revealing the Rinnegan, as he could already feel the drawback, the strain of having just opened it. He could feel that the Rinnegan was sapping away his chakra from his chakra reserves, as he decides to close his eye and cover it with his, Amegakure headband, as he already know that he has to train hard to be able to even use the Rinnegan, as he would make a vow right then and there that, he'd make a vow right then and there and say, Nagato, Yahiko, I promise to make the world that you guys wanted to see, a world of peace, a world where no wars are waged, a world where everyone can smile and laugh together, as I will make that world, and I'll show you that world with your eye, Nagato. As he'd say this, he'd declare it, as Konan would cry, seeing her friend cry over the dead body of their other friends, as they would finally take the body of Yahiko and Nagato and give them a proper burial to send them off. As of course, Konan would be the caretaker of Nagato's body, since Nagato still had one Rinnegan in it, as she was tasked to make sure that that eye could not go to the wrong hands. So yeah, that's how it's going. So yeah, Takaru would know that he has to train his butt off to be able to even use the Rinnegan's abilities, seeing as he can already feel the drawback of not having enough chakra. So he decided that maybe learning something to help, ease this ability, or help ease the Rinnegan's chakra reserves, would be something his master Jiraiya would have said to him a long time ago. The ability to use Sage Jutsu, or Sage Arts, as you gather natural chakra energy, and you'd be using nature energy instead of your own chakra reserves. So that's what he was thinking, maybe learning the art of Sage Jutsu, as we do a time skip of 3 years. The 3 years would go by, and Takaru would have taken over the Amegakure, would have taken over Amegakure, the village hidden in the rain. He and Konan would be the leaders now, and would basically make the village evolve, make the village have peace, right? As well, he was having his time in the village. He led the village through prosperity, even better than Hanzo could ever lead the village, as he advanced the military and also the technology and the lives of others in his village. But even so, that wouldn't last very long, as another war between Konohagakure and Iwa had broke out. But of course, this is a different battle, Kanabi Bridge. And this is where Obito Uchiha where Obito Uchiha, like in canon, would have been crushed by the boulder. But seeing as Iwa and Konohagakure are fighting yet again, I need a water break real quick. As I was saying, the battle in Kanabi Bridge has gotten really started. Like, the war is going crazy. Minato Namikaze is making an absolute name of himself, absolutely wiping out the Iwa Shinobi. But the problem was that Oh wait, I think it was not the Iwa Shinobi. It was probably the hidden village in the clouds. I think it was. It's either that or Iwa, but Konoha was in another war. Yeah, Konoha was in another war, and the war started to grow closer and closer to Amegakure, as it could spell trouble, as it could be the start of it could start another war again, like it did in the Second Great Shinobi War when Amegakure would be involved as well. So, being the leader, Takaru would decide to take it upon himself to make sure his village is safe, as he would leave Konan there to fend the village, as she would be like second in command, as Takaru would decide to tell the shinobi of his village to stay at guard no matter what, and make sure to keep the village and the people in the village safe, as Takaru would dash off into, well, the front lines of the battle. As seeing as he would land, other shinobis, like Konoha Shinobi, Iwa Shinobi, and probably, I think it would be the Hidden Cloud, would also be stunned seeing a member of Amegakure here in this war. They shouldn't even be in this war. As Takaru would look down on the ninjas, as he'd say, "Stop this senseless violence. Why do you fight? Why have you caused this war? You are endangering the people from my village. Stop this war at once." As he would say this, the ninja from the other villages would ignore his plead and would attack him instead. But instead of being scared or afraid, he would show his abilities that he has learned throughout those 3 years. He'd use his mastery of Kenjutsu and knock all the kunai back, and dash instantly towards the ninja, saying, "You have forced my hand. Now, you have forced my hand. Now, eat the blade." Or, yeah, "You have forced my hand, and now the blade has fallen upon your neck." As he quickly blitzes all of the ninja who were there and literally slices them all up. And it was like he wasn't even trying, as he would continue forward, seeing many other ninja, and those other ninjas would also try to attack him, as he would cut them all down bit by bit, as he'd come across a cave that looked to be a cave that was taking someone hostage, and it happened to be a girl, as he would sigh, saying, "They have brought children into this battle as well." As he jumped down, some Iwa shinobi would try to attack him, but he'd be ready for it, as he'd single-handedly take out the shinobi, and he would free this girl with purple markings on her face. This girl being Rin, as Kakashi and Obito would finally make their appearance after taking out some guy at the front, as they would be all shocked and ready to fight this shinobi from Amegakure. But the shinobi, or Takeda, would put his blade away, saying, "Don't fear. I haven't come here to harm you children." As he jumps out the cave, basically, or just leaves the cave, walking out. As they'd all rush to her and saying, "Rin, are you okay?" As Rin would say, "That man, he saved me." As Kakashi looks at that man, he realizes he also has that white hair, but that doesn't really do much, because he sees that another shinobi, or the shinobi that Takaru had just cut down, had got back up and used his final stitch effort to use Earth Style to kind of cave in or try to destroy the cave. As Kakashi would be stunned, and so would Rin. As Obito, quickly thinking, would basically throw them all out, as he would, well, get stuck in the cave, or would have got stuck in a cave if it wasn't for Takaru, as he turned back around saying, foolish shinobi," as he reveals his Rinnegan, saying, "Shinra Tensei," basically repelling the rocks that were about to fall on Obito and sending them to the Iwa Shinobi, basically crushing him. As Obito would be shocked at this man's power. He has the eye of the Sage of Six Paths, the eye with rings, the eye known as the Rinnegan. As, well, Takaru would cover his eye again, as he'd sigh, "Not good, I had to reveal my eye. As he'd jump off, Kakashi would try to question him, but he wouldn't get the chance to, as Minato would be at the front lines, and he just wiped out 1,000 shinobi. I just wiped out 1,000 Iwa shinobi, and it was all good. Konoha was pushing back the forces yet again, and it seemed like another victory for Konoha. And it was. This time, Obito not dying because of the heroics of Takuru. But Takuru was like, even though he had saved others and was trying to be kind to others, like he promised to make peace, hatred would start filling his heart still, anyways, because he still sees the world and he sees many other wars going on. As throughout the 3 years, even though there wasn't too many big wars, violence was still very much a thing. Violence was still going around, and Takuru had tried to solve the violence himself. He tried to be the one to solve the violence, but even so, it still wouldn't work. But this time, he managed to save a few children that were in the war, being Kakashi, Rin, and Obito, saving Obito's life. And Obito would look up to this man, even though he doesn't know him that well. But Takuru would head back to his village. But as he heads back, he sees that the village was destroyed by some Iwa forces. As Iwa, they left some of their army to fight Konoha, but they saw that Amegakure was getting involved. So they thought Amegakure was working for the Leaf, or working alongside the Leaf, as they sent in like reinforcements from their army and charged at Amegakure and destroyed the whole village. The whole village was set ablaze. As when Takuru got there, his eyes were widened as he'd say, "No, not my village," as he'd basically dash over there as fast as he could, checking to see if anyone was still if anyone was still alive, if they survived this onslaught. But no, he'd see the blood of all of his civilians, of his shinobi, all of his shinobi, his civilians. He'd see the blood that was shed as the hidden rain village would live up to its name, as rain would suddenly start pouring, as tears would come from his eyes, as he'd dash around looking for any survivors, anyone at all, women, children, anything, kids, anything really, anything that was able to survive this onslaught. He tried. And as I was saying, he looked for anything that survived this onslaught. As he checked, well, the chief's office, basically, or the head office where he left Conan to be, but he saw Conan there. As well, she was not alive. As she tried her best, she fought off the Iwa Shinobi using her paper release, and she probably could take them on, but they sent in one of their strongest, one of their strongest, and they took them all out. And they took the developed technology that they had. They took some of it with them so they could use it for their own village. Iwa took some of Amegakure's developed technology, right? And well, they sent in one of their heavy big guns, that being the Tsuchikage. They even sent in their Tsuchikage for absolutely no reason, because Takuru could find no reason why they would send in the Tsuchikage to deal with his village. His village wasn't even a part of this war. He just wanted to make peace and not start the war, but it was a wrong move. He started the wrath, or got the wrath of the Tsuchikage to basically end up destroying his village, as he see Conan in the office, as she was stabbed many times, as she was bleeding, and she was dead, she was lifeless. As this man, Takuru, couldn't catch a break. He first lost his brothers, one by his hand, the other by the hand of the ghetto statue, or you could say Danzo, and well, Hanzo as well. But now he's lost someone he cherished. This was actually Takuru's first love. Takuru loved Conan, even though Conan had fallen in love with Yahiko, even though this was kind of like unrequited love, he still loved her. But he just couldn't tell her because, well, Yahiko died, and he didn't want to like ruin anything that was happening. So yeah, it was over. He lost one of his, the only other precious person in his life, besides the villagers and his shinobi, of course. But this was more important than them. He lost his heart, like his heart. He lost it. As this was the last straw, he lost his brothers, and now, the love of his life, he lost as well. As tears would pour from his eyes, as he'd reveal his Rinnegan, as a wave of chakra would just come from him, as he'd cry in anger, as he'd use the ability Shinra Tensei, as he'd push everything back while holding Konan, as buildings were destroyed by his ability. He'd basically destroy his own village at this point. He destroyed anything or any remnants left, as only a big crater remained, as he used a big blast of the Shinra Tensei. But he used up a lot of chakra, as he couldn't care anymore. His eyes were crying. Tears of blood even came from his left eye, as he cried over Konan's dead body. As he would take Konan to where he buried or where he left Nagato and Yahiko, as he'd cry over them, and he'd say, "I lost my family, my loved ones. There's nothing left, no hope left." As he'd basically look at Nagato's other eye and say, "Nagato, I'm sorry. I can't bring about this world of peace that you desire." As he would take Nagato's other eye and decide to implant it in his right eye, fully getting the two Rinnegan, as he has now two of the Rinnegan, as he'd cry out in sadness, sorrow, anger, as his hatred just bubbled up, as, well, Black Zetsu, who was nearby, or watching this all happen, would have a sheepish smile, as he'd say, "Oh, well. It looks like we have a guinea pig that we can use to revive her, Kaguya Otsutsuki." But I'll leave it off there. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. With all that being said, I'll see you all in the next What If scenario. Peace.